Hey, Derek.
Hey Trey.
Man, it is episode 53 of the Beyond the Curve DMX podcast. We had a day race. We had a Dade City race. We had a Tampa MX I4 MX series race. We had a team announcement. It's Wednesday. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, we're a little behind schedule here, but I'm still slacking in the sleep era.
No worries, man. I completely understand. Just there was a lot going on. There is a lot going on. The Supercross season plowing through. We're finished with the East Coast. We went about as far east as we could go. We went to Philadelphia. They had round 15, a day race on NBC. So, which is pretty cool. But daytime Supercross still isn't the coolest. But it seemed like Philly actually lived up to a good Supercross. But do we want to start in Supercross? Do we want to start team announcement? Do we want to start Dade City or Tampa MX? Which one are we going to go with?
We can do Supercross, but yeah, Philly actually kind of beat my expectations. I know what Philly's like, and the pictures anyway looked,
Yeah,
and the overhead views of the stadium, everything looked beautiful. I was not expecting that.
decent crowd.
I was figuring
Yeah.
rough looking, but even the track was pretty cool.
Track looked good. The track was not as boring as Nashville was.
No, no, Nashville was not great, but
No.
I think this coming weekend in Denver, that track. Have you watched the track map of
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It's gonna be wild. But yeah, no, Philly looked great. Racing was actually good. Um, some unfortunate incidents, some all
Yeah.
kinds of crazy stuff up and down. But yeah, we could dive into it.
Well, let's start with our standard. They went backwards this week because of the TV. They put 450s first and then finished with 450s. But we're gonna do what we always do because it's just easier that way. And
Yeah,
250s should go first. So
they should. I don't know why they.
hey, TV man, TV. The money talks,
Yep.
and BS walks, as they say. But back to the last regular East Coast round. We welcomed back. We lost some riders. We welcomed back some riders. Local boy from Pennsylvania, Seth Hamaker, who has, I can't believe his grandfather has never seen him race professionally. He comes back from injury, gives his grandpa a pretty decent present in the heat race.
Yeah, no, he looked good. I kind of expected it. I mean, home race. I think the home race vibes. You could tell he was feeling it.
Yeah.
That's. I think that played a huge part in his riding.
And he and Deegan put on a show.
Yeah.
They really did put on a show, and they've had their, I believe, Birmingham, Alabama. They had their little problem, and
Hmm.
um, you know, congratulations to Hamaker for coming back, getting on the box for the heat race. Monster Energy Star Racing put two in the top three. What about Preston Baseflug, however you say that name, fourth place.
I still can't believe that last name is so out of this country to me.
Boseflug.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
don't.
he's from Washington.
Yeah, and he's riding a Suzuki.
Yeah,
I mean,
I say I swore he was like one of those French riders for the longest time. I mean,
I feel like
nothing
that's.
against the guy, but that's what it sounded like, and I'm like, I can't pronounce that name. I don't know what they're
I
saying.
feel like it's a very European name, like a Norwegian.
Yeah, but he is from Battleground, Washington, so maybe
Yeah, yeah,
foreign ancestors.
maybe. But no, on uh, Nicholas Romano, Chance Hymas, Kyle Peters, the arena cross champion, comes out.
Yeah, he looked really
Yeah,
good. Arena Cross is a whole nother ball game.
it's complete.
Very
Yeah, it's
short, aggressive. It's like UFC of the motocross
yeah.
world. But he come out and actually and put it right in and looked really really good.
And then we didn't know how Gage Linville would respond after the good ride he had
Hmm.
prior. Yeah, he put it right in. I
Hmm.
mean, that's congratulations. That's very good. Um, but no, that's really. I mean, it's really all I have. Congratulations to HBI for getting their riders all qualified for the night
Yep,
show.
all made it to the night show.
That's actually cool. Um, it was a regular HBI weekend for them because they didn't have any outstanding like one-off sponsorship this weekend
Yeah,
that I saw. So uh, I thought maybe they'd have some like brotherly love, the Rocky thing. I didn't get to watch any of the opening ceremonies because there had to be some sort of Rocky Balboa.
I don't know. I didn't get to watch it
Yeah,
either, so
but
it's
that's
hard to
really all
tell.
I had for Heat One. Is I just the story they told about Seth Hamaker on TV, and the fact, whoa, hello, I haven't had that in a while.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
and then Triumph. So we roll on this to Heat Two. Triumph parts ways, or I don't know how that. I still don't know what's going on. I know Evan Ferry spoke on Pulp MX about it,
But did he?
but yeah,
I mean, did he?
I do think it's funny. Congratulations to Jalik Swoll.
Yeah.
That congratulations to Triumph, Jalik Swoll, getting a heat race win. Someone posted like immediately following on X. Look at this. Triumph's out here winning heats, and Evan Ferry's making TikTok videos. And I was like, oh boy, like it is what it is. But good job to Triumph. Tom Vial did what Tom Vial needed to do. Max Nancy. It's good that he's having a good ending because man, that man, he's not a kid. That man was having kind of a dream season, and then it just fell away.
Feathered away. Yeah,
Yeah,
it just feathered out, and then it's slowly been coming back.
yeah, yeah.
It just I'm going. I imagine going through some rough mental stuff or something because he was so strong, and then so not,
Yeah.
and then now it's the old Max Anstey's coming back.
But Pierce Brown, Cody Schock, and really the last four, Ryder Floyd, Casey Cochran. I think we see him on a factory bike, and we have higher expectations. I'm hoping it's more of a Ryder DiFrancesco and not a Nick Romano.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's get his feet wet, and next year he comes out because it's he's qualifying, but it's not looking what we think of factory riders should be doing.
No,
But
I mean,
he's also young, very young.
there's a there's good rides, there's bad rides, there's
Yeah,
he's so it's almost like a Joe Shimoda
yeah,
in a way. I mean, he's there. At one point, he's there, and then he's down.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He's kind of questionable. I don't know what's going on. If it's just kind of like the young age still. Um, he spent more time off the bike than he has on the bike, so I don't know. He's one of those questionable ones.
But both heat races, wire to wire victories for Hamaker and Swole. Um, that's got to make. I know that, and they will believe it or not, they will come into play a little later.
Oh yeah,
But that's got to make Mitch feel a little better. Like, okay, thank God we've lost the championships at this point, but we're salvaging heat race wins, and I still got a rider that's
was is
Levi's not
I was
out
gonna say is
yet.
Levi out?
No,
I
no, no,
didn't
he's
think.
not
I
out
thought
of
he
it.
was coming back.
But
I think he could still make a run for it.
yeah,
It's gonna be.
it's gonna be tough.
I mean, it's real close.
Well, we'll see what happens this weekend because it's he versus RJ Hampshire, and we'll see if we get the full RJ Hampshire experience or if we get championship experience. So,
Yeah.
um, but we'll jump to 450s for their heats, and it's Eli Tomac. Oh my goodness, Eli Tomac's back. It's we keep getting these glimpses of Eli Tomac.
The old
Yes,
Eli.
yeah. I mean, he looks aggressive. He is riding the bike. The bike is not riding him. And then there's the wily veteran Cooper Webb, Justin Barsha, Jet. We got to give Jet props. The dude goes down super early, and I don't know how he made it back to fourth. I really don't.
And that was impressive. Like
Yeah,
in a heat race, it's hard alone, but to battle through and get a fourth the way that he did it, he was fighting.
yeah.
Had he been anywhere near the mid pack, he would have won that race
I think so too.
without a doubt.
I hate to say that, but I think so
Yeah,
too because
there was nobody riding like that.
golly, Pete. I mean, he went down, and you're like, okay, we got some excitement. And then you look up and he's in 12th, and then he's in 9th, and then he's in 8th, and then he's in 6th, and you're like, okay, 6. He's going to get a bad gate pick. And all of a sudden you look up, he's in 4th, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And it's
What's wild though is he only rode. I mean, him and Cooper Webb were running about the same lap time.
yeah.
But for him to, it's because everybody else, like from fifth place down, were like under a second or up to, like 4 seconds slower than everybody else, which is crazy.
Well, he was running those lap times in traffic.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. Like he's putting in lap times that were equal to second place, but he's doing it in
While
traffic.
battling through
Yeah,
traffic.
passing
Yeah.
people but yeah, what a great ride. Adam C. and Cirillo just plugging away. I mean, it's got to be frustrating, and I just want to get this over with, honor my contract, and kind of go off into the sunset. Ty Masterpool put it straight in. By the way, props to Ty Masterpool for the astonishing starts.
No, and HBI has been so good on starts this year. I don't know if they want to give credit to their motors or what, but to be out there fighting with the factory teams the way that they are, I mean, they really have nothing to complain about. If there's, a couple weeks where they get out of the night show, or somebody doesn't make it into the main event, or somebody doesn't make it into the night show, they're still out there pulling hole shots.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no complaining there. I'm surprised like some of these factory teams haven't been kind of hard on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
so I got a
protesting.
question. So I saw this. This is a partial tweet, was regarding Ty Masterpool, but can you imagine what Ty Masterpool and Vince Freeze do a clinic together on starting? It's just and if you want to throw in Mike Alessi, you get the whole three, the best starters, because like
Mike Alessi was a whole shot king.
Yeah, and he's taught Vince Freeze.
Yeah,
and then Ty's just like, I mean, he legit got the whole shot. It wasn't even close. He got the whole shot, and
I feel like that'd be a terrible idea. You get Ty. Ty's a pretty decent guy. Then you get Vince Freeze. So you're gonna get a mixed emotions of just stick your legs out and kick, or just you get Ty's perspective of just hammer down and go. That'd be terrible. That'd be terrible.
but nonetheless, congratulations, Ty, putting it straight in. Jerry, Robin, Benny Bloss again on the beta, straight in. He's I hate to say it, he's become the number one rider for beta at this point.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. I mean, he's looking. I think he has the most time on the bike, but the bike's jiving with him. But he's huge. The guy is huge.
Yeah.
Maybe that bike works better for a big guy, because Colt Nichols isn't very big.
No.
So it could be a bigger guy built bike.
I watched these races, but what happened to Shane McElrath?
I did not see. I know he went down, but I honestly can't.
I can't recall.
Remember.
I don't know what happened, but I mean, to finish dead last again, we have a heat race from start to finish, led and won by Tomac. So congratulations. And then Jason Anderson, Heat 2. Where did that come from? He's been riding well here, but where did that come from?
Yeah, come out of nowhere. I mean, he hasn't had a terrible season, but he hasn't had the best season. Anderson's always been like a top 10 guy. I mean, he's had seasons where he wins some, he loses some, but it just that obviously this track was working for him.
And he comes into play later on in the event as well. So, but no, congratulations to him. Hunter Lawrence looked good. Dylan Francis, welcome back. That was a good ride from Dylan. Colt Nichols finishing 4th. That's a good ride for him. We just made the comment, or I made the comment, that Benny's the number one rider, but Benny's had more success getting into heat or into main straight out of heats than Colt has had. This was a good makeup ride for Colt Nichols as well. Malcolm Stewart, Chase Sexton. Did he have a problem in the heat? Or did he just get jammed in the back? Oh, he fell. He fell. He and Justin Cooper got tangled.
But speaking of Chase Sexton, while we're on this topic, Chase Sexton, how many rounds ago had bike issues?
Mm-hmm.
Bike wouldn't start. Would they blame it on
His
the
foot, his
brakes?
brake, yeah.
But it wouldn't start, which had nothing to do with brakes. Happened, what, 3 times during the race. Nashville breaks a throttle housing, which nobody's ever really seen broke. You off-road guys hit trees and don't break throttle housings.
Yeah.
And they're saying a rock broke it. Comes into Philadelphia with a new mechanic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not getting brought up a lot.
No, it was quietly talked about, and what they're saying is the mechanic's a good dude. He left Honda to go with Chase. He was asked to go with Chase.
Mm-hmm.
And so is that a KTM issue? Is that a can't I mean
I don't.
yeah, that was that I'm glad you brought that up because
There's success on the KTM this year.
yeah,
Clearly, AP's been on it for a while though, so like he knows the bike, but it's still a new bike. Last year's bike was terrible. Um, Cooper Webb had somewhat success on the KTM. Look at God, I'm losing names. Julian Beaumer.
oh yeah.
I mean, he's looking well on the KTM, but Sexton he's riding well, but there's all these little issues that they're blaming on, unfortunate events. But I'm truthfully thinking it's a bike problem. I don't think it's. I mean, maybe the mechanic has screwed up twice now, 3 times, but I think there's bike issues, and they're just not. Somebody had to be the fall guy for those bike issues.
Yeah. Well, that's sad because from everything I've read, the mechanic is a good dude, and hopefully he lands on his feet with another team.
I
I
mean,
mean,
clearly he has to be. If you're an HRC mechanic and
yeah,
then you go to a factory KTM mechanic, obviously you're following your rider, but still, it's it takes knowledge to get to that position.
yeah,
So
and professionalism and the whole
yeah,
nine
but
yards.
I'd like to know what's actually going on with that bike. Is what I'm getting at. Is I don't believe it's a mechanic issue, and I don't believe what they're saying happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure, he might have bent his brake lever at the one race, but it doesn't keep that bike from starting. You can stall a bike. Yes, brakes will stall a bike if you slow down enough, but for it to crank and crank and crank, and then to break a throttle housing, like I said, it would take a boulder to do. I have been hit by rocks. I've broke my knuckles riding behind a CR 500 at an outdoor track in PA, and never once did I break a lever, break a throttle housing with
yeah.
all them rocks coming. I still have pictures of the black and blue marks all across my chest. My whole chest was black with a chest protector on.
Ooh,
Yeah, so it's so hard for me to believe that there was a rock there that could break a throttle housing.
yeah.
I just I want to know what's going on.
Well, and I don't, and we've kind of dug in on Chase, but this crash actually wasn't his fault. Cooper had already gone down. Justin Cooper, sorry,
Yeah.
Justin Cooper had crashed, and then what caused Chase to get hung up was he actually got his fender in between the tire of Cooper,
Mm-hmm.
and they got stuck together.
Yeah.
And so to come back to six is actually not bad, but what happened to Cooper because they got up together and Chase gets to six and Cooper only gets to 11th.
Yeah, I don't know. Cooper's a good starter,
Yeah.
good qualifier,
Yep.
but when it comes to battling, he's not. I don't want to say he's not there, but he's not there. You know what I mean?
He's a leader, not a passer.
He just kind of gets stuck in the mix,
Yeah.
and it kind of just sits there.
But Grant Harlan starting to show some mid-season form at the end. I mean, getting directly in. Dean Wilson, congratulations to Dean. I'm sure this is a nice way to kind of wrap up your career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're doing it for the team. You're doing it for firepower.
Having fun.
Yeah.
He seems to be having fun again.
And then Devin Simonson. So Justin, the big name, Justin Cooper has to go to the last chance qualifier. So let's dive into the last chance qualifiers. We got the full Hardy experience for 250s.
Heck yeah. And it was awesome to see Hardy get in there.
Yeah, and with some of the shenanigans that were happening in the back, he was able to kind of separate himself
Mm-hmm.
because really it didn't show him much because there was so much going on from like second through seventh, we'll say, for a while. And then it was second, third, fourth, and fifth put on a little,
Yeah,
nothing bad. They put on a show.
and we got another arena cross got Crockett Myers,
Mm-hmm.
and he made a comment. Did you see his comment to Triumph? They parted ways with Evan Ferry, and he's like, he commented, I think it was on X, maybe might have been Instagram. He's like, hey Triumph, I got a rider that'll gladly ride that Triumph for you. No, Crockett Myers is a good guy. Um, really good, really successful in the arena cross world, and it's cool to see those guys come over from arena cross to
Yeah.
supercross because some of them can't make the transition.
No,
It's just
because it's different.
it's much different. I know they like it used to be the road to arena cross, the road to
Well, you remember how many
supercross,
times
or
Ricky had to race arena cross to get into supercross,
yeah,
and it was named after him. Like maybe if it was the outdoor road to supercross, it
yeah.
would have been the Ricky Carmichael. But I don't know if Ricky Carmichael ever did an arena cross.
I don't know.
I know Jason Thomas. It could have been the Jason Thomas road to supercross,
Could have been.
but yeah, I don't know. But congratulations to Hardy, and then rounds out with Marshall Welton, Crockett Myers, Vinny Lahovey.
Mm-hmm. He's from PA.
I'm sure he was excited to do that for the home crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing really spectacular. I mean, I kind of flying through that because there's many other fish to fry. 450. The one that hurts the most is Kyle Chisholm. I don't know how much longer we have Kyle Chisholm as a Supercross racer, and he put on a charge, but finished just outside.
Just couldn't get it.
Yeah. But Justin Cooper did what Justin Cooper needed to do, and did it very expansively to almost 12 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's not in 7 laps he got a 12-second lead. That's against,
And that's the thing. Like he's not that shows it. He's not a mid pack battler.
yeah.
If he can get out there and go, I think some of these guys have a rough time keeping up with him. I don't think he's at the Tomac Webb Lawrence pace
Yeah.
at all.
And I don't know if they, like you said, that's a great point because I don't know if he gives way to them or if they're just that much faster. Because when they get up to him, whether it's Sexton, Tomac, Hunt, Jet, Cooper, they make quick work of him. And I don't know if he gives way or if
I truthfully think that they're just
faster.
Yeah, they're just the top of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are extraordinarily fast. There's just a handful. I mean, all of them are fast, but there's just a handful of them that are exceptional. Then you got Jet, that's just it's a whole nother league.
I hate to say otherworldly, but it kind of looks that way.
I mean, truthfully, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the flow, the body position, the speed, everything about him is like extraterrestrial.
Well, yeah, but congratulations to McElrath. Whatever happened, it's a good thing because Twisted Tea, Progressive, the HEP team, they're reeling right now. They don't have Roxon anymore. He's out with his. I mean, he got bounced off the trampoline.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, so they're kind of reeling a little bit, but also Kevin Moran's. Congratulations! Like it's been a long road back.
Yeah,
for him. So Cade Clayson. And then there are some names that we've seen this year: Josh Cartwright, Justin Hill, Josh Hill, who were out, and
Freddie Noren,
yeah,
Tristan Lane, Hunter Slosher, TJ Albright.
So there's some
The
names.
Hill brothers is
Justin especially.
Yeah, it's really surprising. I mean, Josh is just a little bit different, but it's Kyle Bitterman, Scott Meshy. Those guys are typically about where they're at, but
Yeah.
But for Chisholm to not make it in, Josh Cartwright is always right on the fence
Mm-hmm.
line, which he still was. So sometimes he gets it, sometimes he doesn't. But yeah, some of these other guys, for the Freddie Noren, all those guys, especially Justin Hill.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think
kind
about
of
it,
crazy.
There's a spot open. Like there's 2 spots open right now with AP and Roxon out. There's 2 spots like that. This is the privateer prime time,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like some of these guys, they're just not really taking advantage of it, or
And
maybe
the competition's just
it's better,
it's stiff this year.
and maybe they're tired. It's
It's the end of the season. Yeah.
and some people are trying to figure out what they're going to do for. Are we doing fair races? Are we doing uh, outdoors? Because the WSX appears that probably need to touch on that. Adam Bailey, who was the CEO and the director, he's parted ways,
Yeah.
and the World Supercross verbiage is gone from stuff, and like it. Well, those are rides. There are teams. There are people that put out money. I
Hmm.
mean, they paid Ken Roxon a hell of a lot of money for the next 3 years to now what? And
I don't see it going anywhere.
yeah,
Well, maybe. I don't know. Because that was, I mean, last year was the trial run.
yeah.
So, I don't know.
But
I really don't know. I think it was very successful for,
for what it was,
yeah.
and you were giving guys rides that were not
Yeah. I
having
didn't,
opportunities.
I didn't, I don't like that it's not really aired over here. I get it, it's World Supercross, but Supercross here is aired all over the
Yeah,
place. So, I mean, we were able to get results, but you could watch some YouTube videos of it here and there, but it wasn't
but it succeeded.
in the countries that it was supposed
It
to,
went to
like
England. Well, that's cool. It went to a place that's never. They were excited. It went to
Paris.
Dubai.
They were in Paris, weren't they? No, Paris has
Paris
their own
Paris
Supercross.
had its own, but they went to Dubai. Like that's cool. They gave they raced with the series in Australia. That there's it just it's just tough, man, when you don't have the support of the manufacturers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's tough then. So, but nonetheless, before we jump into the mains, over the weekend, I guess uh, Jack Chambers raced the first round of the British championships because they people complain about our guys racing a lot. They don't know these MXGP guys. They race their national series. They race
Oh
the
yeah.
MXGPs. They'll make guest appearances and other. These guys race a lot. They actually do race quite a bit. So let's not feel too sorry. Now it's all one discipline. But Jack Chambers won Moto 1 in the British MX2 class.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Congratulations, man. That's really cool. Like that, I don't care what you're racing. If you can win something
Yeah.
on different soil. So congratulations to the Florida boy Jack Chambers. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. He was over here in a FTR race in Bartow,
Yeah.
winning the double A class, and he's winning a moto in MX2.
It's cool to see him just kind of travel around and live it.
Yeah,
Um, Supercross went okay for him, but it's cool to see some good results in
yeah.
other places.
So congratulations. And since we are on this worldly British championship, let's dive into the main event for 250, and let's talk a British man.
they Max Anstey did what he needed to do, but I mean, Seth Hammaker had it.
Seth Hamaker was
He was
riding
on
well.
fire. He was ready to win for the hometown crowd, and everything went south.
Jalik Swoll was riding well.
Yeah,
Jalik Swoll was riding. I want to say that Jalik Swoll was riding well. I hope he learned a lesson from this because he was riding well. I think his eyes were bigger than his stomach, is what I was used to be told when I was a kid. Like, oh, you don't need that much food. I think he had aspirations, and I think. Oh, hello. Oh, now I'm dead quiet. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I'm there.
our power cords
Yeah, power
getting a
cord.
little iffy.
But back to what. So Jalik was riding well. Max was riding well. Hammaker was riding well. I think that incident, I don't think it was a malicious incident. I think it was, I think I can do this. I'm going to go for it. And it just didn't work.
Yeah, it was I don't want to say like too aggressive, but it was just a missed opportunity.
Yeah. And even his team, one of his team principals, I don't know, actually don't know what Ricky's role is with Triumph, but Ricky even said that was not the right time.
You wonder if the Ricky and the Triumph thing. So Ricky was a big part of the bike design, and you don't hear him talk about.
No,
I don't know if that's because of like being an announcer, if it's like a peacock, like you got to separate yourself so you're not showing
yeah,
favorites type of thing, or if he literally was just part of the design team and
his part's over, and
yeah, now
but
it's leave it to the team. I don't know. I've always wondered that, and
I don't think there's a problem being a team owner because Dale Jr. does it in NASCAR. He announces
yeah,
and he'll go up in the booth and his guys are racing and he has to separate himself from team owner
yeah,
to announcer. Um, and there are times they say, "Hey, like championship, he doesn't call the race on the Xfinity because I I'm going to be team owner today.
yeah,
I can't." But I think Ricky, especially in this, whatever his role is, I think he called it straight. I was proud of the way Jalik was riding. I've been one of, I think he was overhyped. I think he was,
mm,
but he's got a great opportunity. We also don't know, was he feeling the pressure of, dude, I won the heat race. I'm riding well. This is going to look really good for my bosses if I can pull this off.
yeah.
Like, you don't know what's going on in these little minds. Like it's
No, I mean
these
there's
young
a
guys,
million different scenarios
yeah,
that
and a
could have
million different
unfolded.
dollars probably for some of these
Oh yeah,
guys. So bad accident. Nonetheless, Max Nancy just keeps plugging away, and he's leading. But the battle of all battles is taking on behind these guys, and they're trying to cover all of it. I loved it. It was like we have this swole hammocker antsy thing going on, but back behind because Deegan and Vial did not have the world's best starts.
no, no, and they had to fight for it.
Yeah, and they fought all the way up together,
Yeah, I mean that it was a battle the whole way up through. Then you got Pierce Brown,
and
who
he did it.
did what he's been really good at.
Yeah,
He was riding extremely well.
yeah,
It looked like he was in a good finishing position. And then
that was a big hit
it
too.
was, all on his own, and that's what happens with him. It's so good, and then it's so not good. I have such mixed feelings for him because I don't. There was a time where he was like the hype.
Yes,
He was really, really, really fast. And he still is really fast, but he's got to keep that thing on two wheels, and it's like a Joe Shimoda thing for me. When he's on two wheels, that
yeah.
bike's rolling, but it's just keeping it there.
And I am not the one that posted Brown Pierce down in the brown. Someone posted it, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And I showed it to my wife, and she's like, "It's just it's old. Like you feel bad for him because he's rolling around doing well. Like he is doing well, and then all of a sudden, boom, gone.
Yeah,
And between, I feel like Deegan and Vial got very fortunate because with Brown going down, Swole taking out Hammaker, all of a sudden they're now in second and third,
yeah.
and
It was just there's so much commotion. I mean, it was good racing throughout, and then like the second latter half of the race was just like a war zone,
yeah,
absolute war zone. Looked like Detroit. The beginning Detroit where they just everybody. It was a war zone at the beginning. This was a war zone all throughout the race, but gave Max Anstey the chance to take the race.
yeah.
Really, um, sucks for Jalik Swole. Tom Vial did exactly what he needed to do. He kept Deegan off. I wasn't a fan of Deegan's comments last week. I'm not going to be nice. That was kind of a talk this week. But he is he ever nice? Like, is there a nice part of Deegan that he's not? Look at him taking out Cody Shock. I mean,
Yeah. I will say we're not big fans because it's he's a good writer. But my Michelle even said, "Okay, that was a very good podium speech." His podium this weekend was humble,
mm-hmm,
and there was a little bit of like, okay, this is going to be tougher than I thought. Like it's now 15 points, and he's going to have to kind of hope for
yeah,
chaos, a lot of chaos.
mm-hmm,
So it is what it is. I think he's good. I saw something, and I don't know where I saw it from. And there are some kooks out there that report stuff, and sometimes they're actually right. Supposedly, Deegan wants to do a 450 team on Yamahas. I don't know if this is Daddy Deegan or Son Deegan or
Like their own team?
that's what I don't know. I found that, but I could not find where it came from.
I mean, I don't I don't see it being false. One, because their mentality, do you think they like being governed?
Well, he'd have his own. I mean, he would. They would have their own sponsors.
Yeah.
They would
They
have their own.
already,
Yeah.
I mean, 100% people would back
I
them.
mean, he gets to ride his own gear.
Yeah, instantly. So I I could see some truth to it, and I could see them actually wanting to go that direction just because of the way that they are.
Okay, a question for you though. Deegan's 17, 18.
Yeah.
Why? Why rush? What's the rush? Are we hoping that he goes on a 450 and he's done by 25 and he's out, or and he just goes and
I don't think
does a YouTube star?
he's a 450 rider.
I mean, maybe he is, but why rush?
Yeah, I mean,
You're
ride out your
17 years
250,
old.
get some championships if you think you're worthy of these championships, and make a career out of it instead of. But I don't. It's like to me, it's the mentality, like the I'm better than you mentality. That they
Yeah.
sometimes he's humble, sometimes he's still a kid. Most of the time, he's still a kid. I
Because he is a kid. Be a
Oh, and
kid.
then some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be a
So
kid.
like ride out the career.
Yeah, or because there's no pressure of money. He doesn't have to have a long career.
No, I think if Dad broke away from all this and kind of let Deegan, Hayden do his thing, I think the kid might change a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a sore topic. The whole family's just a sore topic to me.
But there was positive. Max Sancy wins the race. That's awesome. Tom Vial, dude, just the English thing, man. You're awesome. Such a nice. He's a good looking guy, good looking kid. Like, and I just have a hard time listening to him. But
Yeah.
Deegan third, Daxton Bennett quietly. Congratulations. I mean, he's seventh in points. That's not bad. Like,
Hmm.
really, it's not bad. Chance Hymas sneaks into a fifth because of
The mess.
the mess.
Yep.
Uh, Seth Hamaker comes back to seventh. Cody Schock with the sixth. Jalik with eighth. They ended up together even after going down. They ended up
Yeah.
together. Uh, and then look at our dude. Boasflug finishes top 10. Like, awesome.
No, it was
Beats a factory. Yeah, Nicholas Romano's suitcase must be packed, right? It has to be packed.
you would think so. I I don't see the
Unless he goes out and wins the 250 outdoors.
yeah, I don't see him getting re-signed, but I'm anxious to see what happens at the end of this year.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be so much movement.
Gage Linville with an 11th. That's a good week.
Yeah,
That's a good couple weeks. You
pretty.
fight for the main, you get in the main. Next week, you get straight into the main, and then you put in an 11th.
It should be a pretty good payout here these last 2 weeks.
Kyle Peters, I bet you that was like, good God, man, are we almost done? This is.
Yeah, this is killing me.
I mean, his whole weekend, maybe 15 minutes in a arena cross.
Yeah, and he's out there race after race.
But then Hardy Munoz with a 14th. Didn't really see any Hardy Munoz experience. So not bad for the 450s. I mean, for the 250s. But Hardy has snuck into the top 20 points on the
Hmm.
East for the statistics here. I'm telling you that the outdoors, but I don't think Hardy's not doing outdoors for HBI, is he? They're trying. They're trying to come up with funding for him
I
right
don't
now.
know.
Because it would be sad to not see him have a shot.
He's a good outdoor
Yeah.
rider. He's
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
So it would be sad to see, but hey, economics are. That was a great. Actually, if you haven't had a chance, it is really cool what Matt Bell does. He really dove into team ownership last week on his
Hmm.
wrap up. He does it on his Instagram or his Facebook page, and it is very. As people who are trying to learn, it is not disheartening at all. It's very okay, cool. Like we kind of know this, but you're now getting it from
It's truthful.
from a guy who's living it.
They're the team that doesn't keep secrets like everybody else.
Yeah. So, I mean, 450s. Do we really need to dive in? There was some cool stuff that happened. There was some interesting stuff, or do we just say congratulations, Jet? You padded your points lead.
Yeah, Jet did everything that he was expected to do. Really rope in the points lead. Cooper's kind of put a hurting on himself.
Did he put? Okay. Do we go ahead and touch on what happened between he and Anderson, or
Can I
do
mean,
we talk a little more? Chase Sexton, who threw all the crap, finished second.
yeah,
Gets rid of his mechanic. The bike gets in a crash at the heat race. He's got KTM. They're having, and then he finished second.
yeah, and that with all these, and that kind of adds to the mechanic. I mean, now they have an excuse to say, "Oh, it was the mechanic."
Well, let's not forget his front end couldn't stay straight on the Honda, and he won a Supercross title. So
Yeah,
maybe he's just really hard on bike. I mean, we talk about Tomac brutalizing bikes, but maybe the way Sexton rides, he's so fluid and smooth. But maybe he's actually hard on bikes.
yeah, and I mean, I can touch on that here in a little bit with my side of things, but it's very these guys that are riding that fast, they might look smooth, but these bikes are getting brutalized.
Yeah,
So I, it is so there's so many scenarios. I truthfully think that they should be looking at rider because think of how many changes the KTM at the beginning with Chase Sexton had to do so much work to that bike to get him comfortable on
yeah,
it.
because it wasn't a smooth transition.
Yeah. So is there things that they changed that they didn't want to accommodate him? I'm guessing they did everything they could to make that thing feel like a Honda
Yeah,
when it's not a Honda. So I don't know. I truthfully think there's a lot of rider in there, not bike.
but congratulations on the fifth. That I mean, on a second. Sorry, he started fifth, but that's good. I mean, it doesn't at this point finishing second is the rest of the class. You're
Yeah.
winning the rest of the class.
Yeah.
Because when Jet pops out to the lead, and
That's all
it's
it
over.
takes.
It's over.
Yeah. Unless Jet
Unless
gets in his own way,
yes,
then
yes,
there's really no catching him. When you're 5 seconds ahead of Chase,
yeah.
there it would take some serious speed. I mean, now Chase was the fastest one on the track at one point, but Jet also had no reason to
It,
push. So if Jet has to push, then he is always the fastest on the track.
well, that's what they were talking about. Is he Jet Chase started closing down, and I looked at Michelle and I said, "Is he closing down?" But as soon as Tomac used to do this, someone would close in on Tomac, and he's done it twice this year,
Then he would ramp
and he
up
would just ramp it up and
yeah,
then pull out the lead again.
yeah,
And I think Jet is we're so used to Carmichael, uh, James, and Villapoto, who I want to destroy you.
yeah.
I'm going to destroy you, and they may crash by leading by 15 seconds. Where Jet's like, this is my pace. I'm good. Oh, I need to
And
amp
it's
it up.
smart.
Yeah,
It's smart. Like Bubba was extremely good at that,
yeah,
just pulling away 15, 20 seconds out and
and
then
crashing.
crashing because he's going so hard for so long.
And Jet doesn't do that.
No, Jet, Tomac. I mean, none of them really
Yeah,
do it. They get a lead, a 5 second lead, and they're
it's good.
really pacing.
But how about Tomac basically just saying, I'm not in this championship. Heck, Cooper, go get him.
Oh
And
yeah,
just pulls it like,
somebody. I think it was Brianna asked me. She's like, "Did he let him by?" I'm like, "Definitely."
yeah.
There was. He knows. That's teamwork, really.
And, and,
Just
and,
let him go.
and you don't think of Tomac as doing that. I mean, he's the same one that wouldn't.
You could very easily see there was no fighting
No,
for that position. Like
not at
that
all.
was a roll outside and let him go.
And then the funny thing is I wasn't really sure if Cooper was actually faster because for a while I was like, Tomac Does Tomac
Mm-hmm.
at some point say, "Hey man, I was trying to like be nice, but you got to go"? And
Yeah.
then Jason comes up and gets Tomac, and it's like, now you're on your own, kid. Like,
Yeah.
but let's touch on the Jason and Cooper thing. Did did they actually touch? I don't think they actually touched.
I don't think. I I'm trying to remember. Like I
Last corner,
yeah, I see the wreck, but I don't think. I think that was all Webb
trying to stop, maybe turn inside, and
just going too hard.
yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't work. Even if they did touch, like I think he was going so hard, they were both going for it. And I mean, talking championship here, Anderson is not one to just back off.
Unless Jason, and we didn't see it, unless Jason as he went by like kicked him. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't heard a lot of ado about it. I haven't heard like a lot of negative talk about it.
Yeah, I want to bring it up.
But I just was curious because Jason was coming. Like he came past Barsha, he came past Tomac. He all of a sudden it's like he's gonna end up on the box. Now he's like Cooper's not giving up the box, and then he gave up the box. We're going to the video here.
Gotta watch a good replay of it because it's so questionable.
By the way, Ty Masterpool put a 16th. That's not bad for the guy who's just learning Supercross.
See, it was all Webb. I
He
mean,
leaned into him, right?
truthfully,
Did he lean into him?
yeah, just all Webb going for it. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, the way that see, there's no back view of it, but it looked like Webb's really, really going for it, and then it's like
Did you
Webb.
pull this off the Spanish channel?
Yeah, I just grabbed the first one I
Oh.
could find.
Well, Anderson got a better drive through the whoops, first of all.
Oh, you kind of see Anderson's back fender bend down. I can't tell if that's suspension compressing.
Yeah. I don't think it was malice. I don't think there was malice intent.
Yeah, it's. I truthfully think it was a Webb incident, but
Okay.
I don't
But
know. There's
uh,
no other camera views for me to actually see, like from the back. That's
yeah,
what we need, a back or a front view of the side to side, because I don't know.
they must still be working on the gas because Justin Barcia got another six. He's separated himself from the rest of the group.
Here's
Oh,
a side view,
Jason leans in on him a little bit.
but I can't see like very visible contact, and I can't blow it up any. They're tight, like
Yeah.
it's tight.
Jason's further outside, and then he kind of fades to the inside
Yeah,
and
it,
starts leaning a little bit.
kind of runs them out of real estate.
Yep, yep,
But look, like Webb almost lands sideways, like trying to avoid it.
yeah.
Is just almost what it looks like to me.
I don't care that you're in a championship battle. I need to be on the podium. I got
Yeah,
to
see,
put shoes
like
on
right there is
Siggy's
just
feet.
the cocking sideways. It
Yeah,
almost just looks like Webb. Maybe they tapped each other, but it was just that's a racing
yeah.
incident.
And
Honestly, to me, you're going for it. It's the last turn,
and Jason shuts him down. Jason definitely squeezes him.
and if I'm Jason and I pass him in that section, I think that I got the speed
Yeah.
to go ahead and cut him off on the inside and go for it, and that's a smart racing move, really.
And Jason knows if he stays straight,
Yeah,
Coop's going to roll him up into the berm.
and there Webb's bike clips Anderson, so he couldn't pull that inside. So kind of shot the bike out around the bull turn instead of cutting to the inside. But yeah, that's if I'm Anderson, I'm thinking I got the speed
Yeah.
to take him around and take the inside from him, and then obviously get the position. So I truthfully think it was just Webb trying to check up, and he was carrying. I think once he seen Anderson, he just caught too much speed. Grabbed a handful of throttle and thought that he could beat him, and just dumped it.
So what do we think about Hunter Lawrence finishing seventh. Is that? I mean, he's had some good runs, but that's where he's been most of the year, right?
Yeah, after being the fastest qualifier,
Yeah.
I thought maybe he could pull something out. But it's a typical ride for him.
Malcolm Stewart, another top 10. That's where he is. Dylan Ferrandis, welcome back, but Dylan Ferrandis finishes ninth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of where he is. He's just. I don't think Supercross is
Seeing
his jam.
seeing Cirillo in 14th was kind of a little down there for me.
Yeah,
Um, but like we've said before, this could have been a pretty brutal track on his hand. I just don't think that he has the strength.
and then you have the Beta Beta,
Yeah.
Benny and Colt going to town. But no, congratulations, Dean Wilson with an 11th. That's not bad. He's not had the best of seasons, so an 11th is good. He's kind of been in that 13th, 14th, 15th range,
Yep.
based upon what you're talking about with the fantasy choose
Oh yeah.
the wild card. So, not a bad, good racing. If Jet Lawrence doesn't screw himself up, he leads from start to finish. Uh, but no, it was good. But there was more than that this weekend. There was
This weekend was exhausting. Let's put it
that
that way. But
there were extra races to race because teachers were coming to watch. So this is your time now to shine. Dade City, we had round whatever it is of the all year series.
I want to say 6, but I can't even remember off the top of my head. Yeah, it was a good weekend. We made a race team announcement there at the beginning.
Yeah, you pulled me out of my weekend off.
I did. We brought to life 827 MX, and it's been a long time in the works. If you watch our previous video, I kind of touch on it a little bit, but just something that I felt we needed to do for Caleb Groves, local Florida rider who wants to get into Supercross, and I think he can. He went out and did a 1-1 in College Boy and won 250A as well. Plus, he was on the trophies that night, so he had a lot of autographing to do afterwards. There was lines,
That's cool.
seriously lines to for him to sign,
So is he signing trophies or?
signing the
Oh,
trophies.
that's
You
cool.
know, because it's his picture on it, and then he signed all the trophies. And like I said, there were seriously just we were trying to clean up, and there's people after people just coming up, and he went up to get his trophies, and literally there was lines up there waiting.
Did he sign his own trophy?
I don't think
Okay.
so. Um, it was a good weekend. Bowen finished second and fourth, second on the PW and fourth on the e-bike, which is really good. Fourth's his best finish on that e-bike so far. Rode his heart out. Oakley looped out on the start on his 65. He finally figured out how that when you dump that clutch, it doesn't always work. He had an issue this weekend in both places, or he thought he put it into gear. They were being really quick on some of these gates, and it happened at Dade City and it happened at Tampa. The exact same thing. Quick gates. He thought he clicked it into gear and it didn't click, and he would hurry up and throw it into gear and then dump the clutch and he looped out. It happened twice, but after that he rode. I mean, as pissed off as he was, he rode and never laid it down. So that's all I'm looking for on the 65. He did decide that we're done with 50s, which made me extremely happy. So at Dade City, I posted that thing for sale because I don't want 50s. I can't stand 50s. They suck.
Yeah, but you're not done with them yet.
I'm not even close, but
Yeah.
I can be done with them I can think that I'm done with them for a little bit. Um, yeah, they're really not that bad. Like the work on them, they're a very simple motor. Um, I keep ours so well maintained that it runs constantly. We never really have anything to worry about, but it's just the thought of them. They're a they're an animal of a bike. But so yeah, we had a really good night at Dade City. It was cool to make the announcement there because that's kind of like where it's kind of like the home field advantage, I suppose. And for Caleb to go out and he rode so smooth. I think it's probably one of the best rides of the year that he's put in so far. Just pretty much destroying the competition. Honestly, there was a couple close races here and there, but nobody could pace with him. and it's really good to see that from where I started with Caleb to where he's at right now is unbelievable. You've seen, he just couldn't keep
Yeah.
the bike on two wheels. It 6 laps, 3 laps, and he was dead, absolutely dead. But he's really making a lot of progress. So that's what we wanted, and it's kind of what brought this team to life. Um, Being able to do that for him and get him on the right path. So we have a lot of things in the works for the race team as well. Sponsorship and stuff that we're trying to get into, try to get some sponsors. So if anybody's interested in sponsoring a local race team that's trying to get to that pro level, we're more than willing to take you on as long as you fit our bill. We don't just take anybody, because it is a passion project, and I like to work with people that we know that we can support. I'm not one to just take somebody's money and support them. So
Maybe some camera securing equipment would be good.
yeah, that'd be all right. We did have a. If you watch our video, well, I guess Michelle cut that
she
part
left
out.
she left the
Some of Did
falling
she?
just because it was like you could hear it. Oh,
That was funny.
but
I mean, it was really really windy at Dade.
it was
We destroyed a 10 by 20 canopy, which sucks, but it is what it is. It's
yeah.
the second canopy we've lost in the last year. Um, Completely staked down, and the wind was so strong at one point it just pulled the canopy and broke the legs. We watched another canopy beside us literally lift in the air and take off,
Wow.
and then it flipped it upside down midair. It was, and Caleb could tell. He's like, when I'm riding, I can feel myself moving. There
Yeah.
was there was one jump there that he would hit it far inside or far outside and land in the middle, just because the wind was so strong. And it makes for hard racing when you're jumping like that. But yeah, Dade was a good night. We packed up, got to Tampa MX about 12:30. Kind of, it was miserable, but we got there. Generator wouldn't run. I had to go to a gas station, fill up the generator with oil, and get that thing running so I could shower, because I was dirty and sticky, and I just couldn't wait to get to Tampa to shower, and I couldn't shower, and I wasn't going to bed like that. So I got showered, cleaned up, got everything running, got to bed at like 1:30, woke back up at 6 for racing at Tampa. Um, we had a really good day there too, and it was awesome. So our kids go to Providence Academy here in Lake Wales, and uh, they have different names for their teachers and stuff. So like the assistant principal or principal is dean of students, I believe, and they go to a private Christian school, so it's a little bit different. But and then Oakley's teacher came to watch, so it was cool having them there, and they really did put on a show for them. Bowen fought hard. The track was really muddy. The beginning of the practice in the morning was pretty muddy, especially for PWs. Obviously, it gets real slick, and Tampa's very hard packed as it is. They always run um, a supercross style there. So your first moto is just gate pick. Second moto is your main event. So winner takes all essentially. Um, but we brought home a third on the PW and a fifth on the e-bike. Then Oakley ended up looping out on the start again, but second moto it was on Oakley on the 65. They have like a mechanics area type of deal. It's kind of like Supercross. You're right on the face of the jump, right before the finish line. And I told Oakley to get on it. There was a kid right in front of him. He could have passed him. Well, he got on it, and I don't think he was expecting the power. He kept telling me he's still mad about this, but he told me the throttle stuck. Truthfully, I think that he just caught the power in it. He's not used to that yet, and he launched the finish line. Launched it. I mean, most of these kids on the 65s, when they're trying, they're launching the finish line, but this kid just shot. I could tell midair he was scared to death. He cleared it and then some, and obviously he was not happy. But everybody was screaming and hollering. I mean, it was crazy. I was at their school yesterday, and Mr. Barker, the dean of students, was teaching the fifth grade class because one of the teachers was out or something, and he told me that afternoon or yesterday afternoon that Oakley was the most popular kid in school yesterday because he did that because Mr. Barker told him all about him clearing the finish line, and he was the fifth grade hero.
Ah,
Third grader being the fifth grade hero. So it was cool. Oakley was not happy about clearing that. I told him to do it again. I'm like, he come around. I'm like, get on it. He gave me the head shake. No. So he come off scared. He was still scared to death by the time he finished that race. He didn't ride very well after that. I knew he was scared because it is a booter. But he cleared it. I mean, jumped it, landed it just fine. His feet came off the pegs in the air. Obviously, if you jump something for
yeah.
the first time like that, it's bound to happen. I said, but all you gotta do is now you know. You squeeze your legs, you launch it. There's nothing to it. But it was a good weekend of racing. Exhausting, like you said. I still trying to catch up on sleep. I feel, but yeah, it was just so fun making the team announcement and getting things going. I drew us up a logo yesterday and got that all on there. And there's so much stuff in the works. I want to get us a little online shop so that people can get shirts and stuff like that, and kind of incorporate our podcast into the team, and hopefully just get us all out there. And um, we got a long road ahead of us, definitely for sure. We got Loretta's qualifiers coming up. Hopefully we can put Caleb into the 250 Pro Sport in at Loretta's, and our qualifier is June in Georgia, second week of June, second weekend of June, I believe, the 7th through the 9th in Georgia for our regional for him. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, there's a long road ahead of us, so we got a lot of work to do.
Well, it was definitely a busy weekend of racing. It was fun going over to Dade City for the announcement. I had a blast. I actually went over and just watched practice and track maintenance and did the announcement and came back home. But um, we always talk about the privateers, and this weekend everybody left Philly. Everybody got on planes except for the privateers who got in their vans and are driving across to Denver. Luckily for them, it's Denver and Utah, so it's not too far away. And I bring up the fact that we talk about the privateers because people are always looking for ways to help. Well, this week, Justin Starling had a child.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to you. And I don't know the name of your wife. I apologize, but congratulations on the birth of your child. That's awesome. Welcome to fatherhood. As two dads, we can relate. It's really cool. A lot of sleepless nights to begin with, and then a lot of sleepless nights as they get older because you're nervous for them. But he needed somebody to drive his van to Denver so he
Mm-hmm.
could spend time with his family. So local FTR AA, he was a pro in GNCC for a while. Garrett Edmonston filled the bill and is driving the van. There's no FTR race this weekend, so he's driving the van to Denver
Yep.
for. So just want to give a shout out to the FTR group for not only do we race off road, we support our local privateer as well, and so people are looking for ways to help, and you never know what that way is. And this week it was, can someone please get my van to Denver and with my equipment in it?
Yeah. Justin posted all over social media looking for somebody,
Yeah.
and I was interested in doing it if we didn't have so much going on just to help them out. We know what the privateer life is like, so um, there's enough on my plate to try to fill that plate too. But
So is there racing this weekend, or are you off?
we are off this weekend.
Oh my
We're gonna
goodness.
try and do some housework. We're gonna slow down on the racing just a little bit over these next few weeks and try to play catch up. It's we've been so busy between Loretta's and the team, and just kind of focus on our local Dade City stuff right now, just to get some gate drops and really focus on getting Caleb to Loretta's. So we got a lot of team stuff to figure out over the next few weeks. So yeah.
Well, very good. It was a busy week of racing, and more than likely, we probably will not have the podcast till Tuesday next week, just because I'll be out of town. We'll touch on that next week, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Let's go take a break and I'll get to work and
he is a tired Derek Schaefer from DBS Custom Fabrication and Handyman Services. I am Trey Heath with Michelle and Trey Real Estate. Oh, hold on. I've got to add this now. He is also Derek Schaefer of 827 MX. which I've got to figure out how to coordinate that in. We are together Beyond the Curve DMX podcast. This has been episode 53. We'll be back next week to discuss Denver. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.